Okay, let's dive into this because every once in a while, sports gives us a story that just defies all logic. You know, a classic David versus Goliath tale. And in La Liga, we just saw a perfect example. A stunning, absolutely shocking upset that pretty much nobody saw coming. I mean, just picture the scene heading into this match. On one side, you've got Atlético de Madrid, an absolute powerhouse, just flying high after crushing Barcelona 4-0. And on the other side, Rayo Vallecano, a team stuck in a 4-game losing streak, staring relegation right in the face. The script seemed totally written before the first whistle even blew, right? You know, in Spanish football, they have the perfect phrase for a moment like this: La gran campanada de la jornada. It literally translates to the big bell ring of the week. And it's what they say when a result is so shocking, it sends a ripple through the entire league. This wasn't just a win. This was an alarm bell going off for everyone. A true shockwave.
So how in the world did we get to that shockwave? Let's talk about that first half and how Rayo Vallecano basically took the script, tore it into a million pieces, and set it on fire.
From the moment the game started, something just felt different. Instead of a powerhouse dominating a struggling team, it was Rayo who played with this incredible clarity and purpose. They were sharper, they were more cohesive, and man, they fought for every single ball, leaving Atletico looking almost stunned by their sheer intensity. And then right before halftime, all that relentless pressure just exploded. At the 40-minute mark, Fran Pérez finds the back of the net. And before Atletico could even figure out what just happened, boom! 5 minutes later, Óscar Valentín does it again. 2 incredible team plays, 2 goals in just 5 minutes. A jaw-dropping 1-2 punch. And so that was the score at the half, 2-0. Not for the powerhouse, but for the underdogs who were fighting for their lives in the league. Just let that sink in for a second. Wow. Okay, so heading into the second half, literally everyone watching is thinking the exact same thing. All right, surely the giant is going to wake up now. Surely Atlético de Madrid has an answer for this. The big question on everyone's mind was this: could the legendary manager Cholo Simeone work his magic? I mean, this guy is famous for his tactical genius and his halftime adjustments. If anyone could pull a comeback out of a hat, it was him. Or so we thought.
And Simeone, he acted fast. At 54 minutes, he brings on Julian Alvarez. Just 2 minutes after that, he throws the young prospect, Obed Vargas, right into the fire. But it was just no use. The momentum never shifted. And then, to seal the deal, Nobel Mendy scores a perfect header. That was it, the final nail in the coffin. Really, the story of that second half was just one of pure desperation. The tactical changes didn't work, the frantic scramble for a goal, for any kind of hope, it just led nowhere. Against a shockingly disciplined and organized Rayo defense, the famous comeback, well, it simply never arrived. The final score, 3-0. And this wasn't just a loss. In Spain, they call this a goleada, which basically means a thrashing. A complete, total, and absolutely unbelievable victory for Rayo Vallecano. But you know, in the middle of all this chaos, a young player got thrown right into the storm. So let's take a quick moment to talk about the subplot here. Obed Vargas and his unbelievable trial by fire. 34. That's the number of minutes Vargas played in this match. And while it might not sound like a lot on its own, for him in this particular situation, it was a huge deal. So get this was only his 3rd appearance for the club, and by far his longest stretch of time on the field. He gets the number 21 jersey and is basically tasked with the impossible. Go out there, change the game, and rescue a result from the jaws of a humiliating defeat. But as you can imagine, in the face of all that chaos, his influence was pretty scarce. What a tough situation for a young player. So a game like this, it makes for a great story, for sure. But what does it actually mean in the grand scheme of things? Well, let's look at the aftermath, because a single loss like this can have a very, very high cost. So the crucial point is sitting right here on this table. After this loss, Atletico is stuck at 50 points. That puts them a staggering 15 points behind the leaders Real Madrid and 13 points behind Barcelona. That is a massive, massive gap to try and overcome. And that's really the bottom line here. This wasn't just some embarrassing defeat. It was a devastating blow to any real hopes Atletico had of winning the La Liga title this season. In just one game, that dream is now very likely over. Which I think brings us to our final thought. When you strip away all the tactics, the league tables, the stats,
What does a result like this truly remind us about sports? I think maybe it's that on any given day, the script can be torn to shreds, and the underdog can have its moment. And honestly, that's exactly why we watch.